Well, hello everybody, and welcome to virtual Cobalt Cafe, a weekly poetry reading. It is week number 258 of our virtual series. Glad to have you all here with us. My name is Rick Lupert. I'm your MC. We are broadcasting live to the ones of people who are watching via YouTube, and of course to everyone watching here in the Zoom. Ever since we switched to the YouTube live stream, we don't get as many live viewers as we did when it was going to Facebook. So trying to figure out what the best path is forward with that. Used to get people watching live on Facebook. Of course, anyone can join via Zoom anytime. Anyway, a little glimpse into my head at this moment. Not as biological as it sounds. Tonight, in addition to our open reading, our featured reader is Blake Lynch. Blake, really happy that you are here with us. Thank you so much for being here. You've got a new book out. You probably already know that, and we're excited to hear some poems from it and learn more about you and your work. So we're going to do that in a little bit after a chunk of our open reading. If you would like to participate in the open, and you haven't already done so, please send me a message in the chat and I will add you to the list. When it's your turn to read, you can read up to 2 poems. That's our maximum. And as always, our suggested time limit is less is more. So take that into consideration as you are thinking about how much you're going to read. We, of course, have a 1 drink minimum here at the Cobalt Cafe, so make sure you do whatever's necessary to honor that in the comforts of your own Zooms. Finally, you should have the chat room open. The chat room is where you can interact with each other since everyone's muted throughout the festivities. Send each other messages, private or public. You can react to the things that you're hearing when it's another poet's turn to read. And if you've read and you want someone to click on something, that's where you would post the link so we can click away. That is everything I need to tell you before we get to our first reader. I would like to ask if there are any questions. Cathabella, yes. Cathabella, I do not hear you. You need to unmute yourself to make that happen.
What did you dive into on your trip?
Well, not the ocean, I'll tell you that much. They were very particular on the ship that you should
That you
not
don't do
dive
that.
off the ship.
Right.
So that's the one thing when I think of the word dive, it's almost like a Pavlov's dog kind of reaction, like, oh, not off the ship. Um, so
So great.
there you go. There was so much food, you know what I'm saying, on in this experience. I like every time we finished a meal, we had 10 minutes before the next one came along. So I really feel like we deep dove into the food in addition to seeing all kinds of really cool things, shrines and temples and
Mm,
Disney parks and manga art and gardens and things like that. So like the whole thing was a dive.
got it. Thank you, Rick.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Cathabella. Denise, looks like you have a question. Your hand's up.
Yes, Rick, since you have now been to Busan, I'm wondering, have you seen the film Train to Busan?
I have not, but I've been made aware of it a couple of times since I've been. So should I see it? I guess. Let me
It
throw it back
is
to you.
my all-time favorite zombie movie. I think you should see it. It's really, really good.
I
Really
should have known coming from you that it was going to
coming
be a
from
film
me.
that I'd want to see based on the premise alone. So
Yeah.
Train to Busan. I'm going to try to remember that and check it out. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, good question. Jackie, what's your question?
Okay, so you said that when you went to Japan, you guys had a lot of food. My question is, did when you go to Japan, do you ever buy anything from their vending machines? And if their vending machines are different from the ones here in the US?
Well, they don't. One of the main differences is they don't take U.S. currency. Uh,
Okay.
so that's something you got to keep in mind. I don't think I did get anything from the vending machines. I think the closest we got was we went into a 7-Eleven
Mm.
and got one of those little triangular rice square situations, which we needed as a snack when everything else was closed. And this is before we actually went on the cruise part, and that was in Yokohama. So, not technically a vending machine, but what is a 7-Eleven if not as close to a vending machine as possible?
Yes, I agree. Even here. Yeah. Thank you. That was a good answer.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you so much, Jackie. Martin Parker, what's your question?
Yeah, Rick, I was just wondering what is your relationship, if any, with the word musk melon?
I've been trying to avoid all things involving the word Musk over the last 6 or 7 months or so. Maybe a little longer. I'm going to say definitively that I have no relationship with Musk Melon whatsoever, authorized, hidden, or otherwise.
Always my father's favorite term for cantaloupe, which apparently some people say is should only be applied to melon from Italy. I don't know, but then again, they call green
Although,
peppers mango where he grew up, so it's all a little fuzzy.
sure, uh, people and their weird words for other things that we call other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Good question. Thank you, Martin. Ed, looks like you're the last person with a question. What's your question?
Sure. My question is, what was your favorite, you and your wife's favorite activity going to Japan?
Um, we really enjoyed a day that we spent in a city called Akita, which featured the Adachi Museum of Art, which had a Japanese garden there, which was the number one rated Japanese garden in terms of beauty by whatever association in Japan rates Japanese gardens. And it was really an extraordinary experience that we won't forget.
Oh my God, to Rick-san.
Arigato goes. I always forget the rest of that, but perhaps you know it and can just hear it in your head without me saying it. All right, good set of questions, everyone. We're gonna get on with our open reading at this point. I've got one person in the waiting room whose name I don't recognize. So if anyone knows RF Moalemi, send me a message to let me know if I should let them in. So on deck, our second reader will be Heather Romer Kornblum. Please welcome our first reader, Chris Kondo. Hello, Chris.
Hello. Well, finally I can unmute. I wasn't allowed to unmute during the question session. Okay, let's get this going. Share. I need to share it, Rick. Rick, I need to share. Still not letting me share. Okay, there we go. Where will I start here? Okay. Okay. So these are tanku. This is a form of shared poetry created by Mariko Kitakubo and Debbie. And my partner is Sherry Jo Renneker, a very old friend of mine who lived with me and did a lot of group poetry together with us in our group in the 90s. So here we go. Minus 17.7 centigrade. The depths of winter ice, a nuthatch. Emerging from hibernation, sleep still vibrates in my bones. Okay, now the next one. I can't see the title. whistling in the dark. So much now, like somebody else, I can taste the layers of dust between us. Writing poems on the abandoned desktop with my finger. Thank you.
Chris, thank you. Thanks for being brave enough to open up the reading today. FYI, that no one can unmute themselves until it's their turn in the open mic, so that's why every time you read, you wait for me to get an invitation to unmute.
No, it was during the question and answer period when everybody else was unmuted.
Right, that counts as the time
okay.
when people are.
I see. Okay, I am asleep this morning still. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, that's always the way we do it. As you may have seen, we occasionally get accosted by Zoom bombers, and so we make efforts to make sure that only authorized people are in here. And in case someone else slips in, we keep people muted until it's their turn in the open mic, just so unintended people don't start shouting terrible things as happened in the past. So there you go. Chris, thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Chris Kondo. On deck, Martin Parker. Please welcome our next reader, Heather Romero Kornblum. Hello, Heather.
Hi, thank you so much for organizing this. It's so grateful to be here. I'm going to read a poem named River for my son River, and it is his birthday today. And this poem initially appears in Southern California Water Feathers Press journal. River. I named my son River so that he could cut through rock, forge any path he wanted, as long as it aligned with gravity. I named my son River so that the silt could be moved or left behind. I named my son River so that he would always have a destination. Even dams would not always hold him back, and he could run or stay still. I named my son River so he wouldn't be afraid to grow, ever changing. And if he shrank, he would still be a river or riverbed with the potential to be full again. I named my son River because I needed a journey, something to carry me downstream, forward. I named my son River, both sweet and salty, allowing for contrast, intermingling of currents. I named my son River. I saw myself as the guardian, coolness, wetness, vitality. I didn't want to go backward, like the ocean. I named my son River as a nod to my deep need for nourishment, for my hope that life can be unrooted yet significant. I named my son River so that in my darkest day, facing my own mortality, I remember that I gave life. So thank you so much for listening to that one. Could read a second short one. I'm not sure how I am on time, so let me know. All good. Okay, so I will pivot to that one. This one is something I'm still working on. Mercury was hiding in watermelon slice, beautiful through the telescope. I uttered the word miracle, teary-eyed to the senior volunteers, my son in tow. I still apologize for being sick, for giving my son an edited version of mothering, for the family he had that fell apart after I landed in the ICU, for other insanities that I cannot control, though I explain that I cannot control all of these things. Oh, it's beautiful, I say about Mercury, something I cannot control. Beautiful, I say about my son, whose life and spirit I cannot control. Beautiful, I want to say about everything that has passed and could not control, but I am still light years away. So thank you so much.
Heather, thank you for pulling over and reading some poems for us. You know, it's not safe to poetry and drive, just to be clear. That's our...
Oh, no,
Very good. Well, nice to meet you in this place. I hope you come back and read for us again. Welcome to Cobalt Poets. Thanks for being here. Everyone give a round of applause for Heather Romero Kornblum. On deck is the collab, Cathabella, Jackie, and Siggy. Please welcome now Martin Parker. Hello, Martin.
Hello again, Rick. And thank you to you and everyone in the room here tonight. I've got a couple of short poems, and as you might have guessed, the first one continues on the theme of melons. It's called Muskmelon. The taste of this melon softens my tears, its sweet summer scent, a balm to my fears, a globe filled with flame, but tender and sweet. As nectar flows, emotions compete to tell the story of where we go next on uncharted journeys through futures complex. While under the surface, this subtle glow illumines the caverns through which we must go. And then my second one is called Cribbage. My dad loved to teach me paper games like tic-tac-toe, squares, and sprouts, then worked up to checkers, eventually chess. I became obsessed with books about games brought home from the library or begged for as gifts, then board games for birthdays and holidays. Pachisi, the royal game of Egyptian Senate, and others from the past, enhancing my passion for ancient signs. Inheriting decks for touring in Lynch, and a cribbage set Dad made with his own hands. I recently gave away most of my games. I hadn't played them for many years, but the cribbage set remains on my shelf.
Oh, the nostalgia of old things and our memories connected with them. Very cool, Martin.
Here's the cribbage set right here. It's actually a three-handed cribbage set. I've the only one I've ever seen. My dad made it from scratch. He was a woodshop teacher for years. Thank you.
I'm very concerned with the requirements of a three-handed anything.
Well, it's not that hard with cribbage, but you just don't see the boards.
Okay. I'm going to have to do some research and figure out how to make that work. Martin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Martin Parker. We've got two more poets, and then our featured reader, Blake Lynch. On deck is Richard Loringer. Please welcome now the collab, Cathabella Wilson, Jackie Chow, and Siggy. Hello to all three of you.
Hello, Rick. And we'll have our Rick too. Let me see what I can share here. I just posted this in the chat. It's Marco Kitakubo's new journal, which is called Kizuno, which means bond. And the wonderful thing about this is she and Debbie Kaloji, her death day was yesterday. So we're very close to Marco right now, feeling the absence of Debbie Kaloji. And this form of poetry was born by writing in chat in the middle of whatever. Debbie in the hospital, Marco in the middle of the night. And they wrote back and forth together in a poetic manner. Marco only writing tanka, and Debbie only writing haiku. So when Debbie died, Marco put all her energy into creating this journal, which allows all of us to write tanku, which we've never done before. And this is a sampling of what it is. And I put the links there because you can go and see it. And I'll also put some information. You just write to her email address. You can submit. But it's all based, the name of the journal is Kizuna. And Kizuna means bond. So it's different from any other kind of collaboration, and it's very pertinent to what we do because it's based on a true and real relationship between poets. And so when you write, like what Debbie and Marco did, you write to each other, into each other's lives and answer. So we hope we can live up to this. So yesterday I wrote this one with Marco, and maybe Jackie, you can answer. You can read Marco's part. So Marco wrote this yesterday on the very day, and I answered her. This is not published yet, but it's what Tonku is. Wavelength.
Wavelength. Dive into the depth of ancient ocean to meet my late soul sister. First death anniversary.
Newborn sea life. Emerald and amethyst. Colors she loves.
At the edge of a row of girls holding a branch, I am an alien, even in my doll life.
One doll grows. One doll grows a flowery hat. We take turns wearing it. Jackie, did we name this, or are we still last dolls? I think I thought of. So one of the things about this may be too close to the poem. This is a good way to know what to do when you write. Tanku has a title, unlike just tanka and haiku sequences. And it's a title that goes off on a tangent. So this may be a little too close, but we're still working on it. So one doll grows a flowery hat. We take turns wearing it. And this one, Jackie will read. Peter.
Parsen's last dive, saving careless Jane from a crocodile. It lets her go at once. There's lots more meat on him.
Mm-hmm. And Siggy.
Love's last glow, a gladiator's gleam, burps, satisfaction.
I don't know if we named, well, these are so new. We wrote them yesterday. We're still working on the titles. It's fun to do the title. It goes off on a diagonal, and it adds a new element to the poem. So I hope you're all interested, and I did put the links for samples. Okay, Siggy.
Sea herbivore, snuggle in seaweed, rock pool life, yummy summertime treat, pickled periwinkles.
Diving mermaids come up for appetizers. And this is a new title. Jackie just, the way the title happens is the two poets confer. And it happens after it's done. And it's written as if you were writing in chat to your other poet friends. So it's very spontaneous. Okay, Peter, and that'll be read by Siggy.
Scooping stars from the lake surface for her tiara. Her greedy eyes sparkle, more for them than for me.
His gift of a single rose. I marvel at the dewdrops.
I'm sure he appreciated. Okay, and this is another friend. Maybe, let's see. Siggy, you can read Diving.
History. Diving into the fumes of coffee. A crowd with gold-rimmed cups. It's a small world.
Neighborhood bakery. My shadow stuck to the green awning.
I so love that. So that's just a sampling of what Tonku is. I hope and Chris also gave you a sample. So you have an idea, and I'm giving you the links, and maybe next time we can actually go right to the journal and read from that. So I know you'll enjoy it. It's a real adventure, and the fact that Debbie and Marco have passed it on to us to do, and we all have bonds.
Yeah,
That's
that's beautiful, and can't believe it's already been a year since Debbie P. Kaloji passed away. Thank you for reminding us of that, and in turn, how quickly time seems to be zooming by. Thanks for keeping her memory alive as well, and for your work on that. And Rick, what do you got for us?
Oh, thanks for asking. I wanted to use something Japanese, and this is Hitogo Yuri, a bamboo instrument that was blown and was in use hundreds of years before the shakuhachi appeared.
It's so
It's a
small.
it's a-
Look how short it is.
it's kind of short. It's stubby. It's a replica, of course, not an original. The original belonged to Emperor Go-Daigo.
And his family hasn't given it up yet. I understand. Rick, thank you so much for that. I like little things. I did go to a museum of little things in Japan, or at least I took a picture in front of it, and I felt it felt important to be there for me. Thank you all. Thank you, Cathabella. Thank you,
Thank you,
Siggy.
Rick.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank
Wonderful.
you, Rick. Great to have you guys as always. Round of applause for the collab. On deck is our featured reader, Blake Lynch. Please welcome now Richard Loringer. Hello, Richard.
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday, I guess. Here's in the chat, I'm co-hosting the Collapse Press monthly reading on Friday. It's online. There's an open and 9 brief features, like 9 people doing 5-6 minutes, and it's going to be awesome. And if anybody's in Oakland or in the area over the over the weekend, there's a mini festival on Saturday and Sunday that's a benefit for the Beast Crawl that usually is the big festival. So just announcements. So I'm just going to read one poem. I have felt the need lately to read, I guess I would call them uplifting poems. And so I've been reading from this unpublished collection of ecstatic odes to everyday things. And since I can't quite decide, and I'm not going to put it to a vote, but I think I'm going to ask Cheryl Lateef, would you rather hear a poem called Sleep, Waking, or Breakfast? You can just choose the title and I'll read that poem. You'll probably have to type it in. Sleep, waking, or breakfast. Or if you want to pass, then I'll just choose one. Okay. Great. Just one poem today. Waking. Some days, it's just the oddest thing to find myself a beaming lump of flesh, riding a pebble round a ball of fire, riding and writhing and ratcheting, and stranger yet, awake, oddly conscious, with light pouring in and a tumbling thought. Ain't that the damnedest? High on chemistry, we ratiocinate our days to bits, placing a flower here and a stop sign there, darting and dueling and carting about, wild worms, sharks in a bowl, brink linkers, thinking beans. Some days it's just the craziest, this sentience. A monumental, where the fuck did this come from? That we should see and dream and take in air, taste water, hear birds, make chairs, or even know we be. To be. to spree and ride the curdling sea choicelessly as if a flint were struck between the ears and all the enzymes sing in the eaves. Ah, upon the brow I ski. It's enough to give a man religion. Gaping and wondered at the winsome whirl, drop-jawed, mesmered, and flung about, waiting for an answer from the breeze. But I'd rather sing along for all it's worth, for sheer surprise, taking my days as a bonus game, surfing the turf with what skill I can rent, rolling in roses whenever I can, and living for that startling moment. I find myself opening eyes again, as if for the first time, the first anything new to life and light and thought, day breaking, world streaming in, deep breath and nerves alight, the air so very clean with a hint of fog. That was waking.
As personally selected by Cheryl Lateef. Richard, I almost just called you Richerol. I'm not sure why that almost happened, but thank you so much for that piece, and for being here and for reading uplifting things in a time when we do kind of need that, because it's tough out there to be a poetry pimp
I
these
have to tell
days.
you something really bizarre. While I was reading, a message came on my screen, or maybe this is on everybody's screen, that asked me to confirm my speaking language. It said, it looks like you've switched languages, and it seemed to think I was speaking in Persian.
I got the
That-
same message.
You did. Did we all get
it
that?
was me referring to you as Richerol.
I think it's just
I
AI
don't know.
having a breakdown again. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Richard, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
As always, great job.
Mhm.
Round of applause for Richard Loringer and all the many languages he may speak, according to AI. There you go. On deck after our featured reader will be Michael G. Hickey, so stand by, Michael, and your fabulous head, as was declared by Cathabella earlier today. Looking forward to your reading. Time now for our featured reader, Blake Lynch. Blake is a poet who comes to us from Virginia, which means that it's very late where Blake is. But Blake, be comforted by the fact that some people are joining us from Malaysia and Japan here in the room, which means that it's so late that it's actually tomorrow where they are. So you've got that going on for you and for us. Blake is the author of a new book called Hanging the Angels. It's his first full-length poetry collection that came out on Finishing Line Press. His poems have been published in many, many places. He's also a playwright, and his plays have been staged in places that are ripe to have plays, like New York City, Pittsburgh, and the Institute of Contemporary Arts in London. So that is so cool. Your work, I was just looking at your bio, is really fascinating. You've written books on the history of point-and-click game failures. I'd love to know more about that and what that is, what that means, and how a whole book is filled with all of that. So mention that if you have a moment. Blake is a husband and a father, born in Pittsburgh, coming to us from Virginia. Excited to have you here today. Please welcome our featured reader, Blake Lynch.
Great. Glad to be here. I during my daytime job, I work as a Wall Street analyst, and I study video game stocks. So I'm currently working on a narrative book on failed and flopped video games that sort of collectivizes why those games failed. Today I was going to read a handful of poems from my book, Hang the Angels. It's available on Amazon or through the publisher Finishing Line Press. And then depending on how much time we have, I might throw in another new poem or two at the end. So I was going to start with, I'm going to read a few poems I don't read too often from the book. This is called Gone for a While. It's in the voice of a woman named Tanya. We laid Daddy down on Friday. It wasn't COVID, just bone cancer. My brownie niece sang precious memories in the hallway of Tucker's funeral home. I thought about my Huffy. I wanted pink streamers. Never got them. When he wasn't digging telephone poles, Daddy was a painter. He wouldn't paint this. My husband's out again with those boys from Kings County. When this marriage ends, I want to go fishing again on the Rappahannock. My mom never said I love you. I grew up thinking there was something wrong with me. She wrote my book reports while Dad, Lisa, and I were sleeping. I want to go back to Kmart blue light specials, a broken Iron City beer clock, a faded White Snake cassette, big mouth Billy Bass that danced on the wall, a red leather Bible embossed with Tanya. Jesus, love let me down. I miss Tip O'Neill. People still like to be asked. I miss the old stuff. There's no map. Husbands and mothers want you folded like laundry. No one listens when you return. Wranglers stained black with mulch. I don't care if they're left waiting. I'll hang a sign even. Leave the light on. The second poem I'll read is called Lodestar. It's about an image-based poem. All evening, the black girl's braid, Connectalon lies on the table as Elizabeth twirls, arms lifted to an invisible radio. You love her more than the moon, the rain. The tall one laughs, not lying as she braids and wraps. I noticed the scar on her shoulder from jumping out of a Pontiac Sunfire. She runs a pick through the hair of the girl cradling a baby from bed sheets. No one knows where the real one went. The night nurses take her up to roost on the roof. In the corner of the room, an old woman cracks vending machine pecans. Thought they were M&Ms. Nearly blind, she waits for me to read from Sky Mall. She'll visit Tahiti someday. We don't fly in Western Psych, but at 17 sometimes, if I leaned just right, I'd float for a moment toward the North Star. Melissa, the night nurse, sits at a bolted table, clutching her dented Aladdin thermos. Icicles hang from the stained glass. Jesus carrying the lamb no one claimed. Jesus ate meat. She likes the empty, Swickley apartment, but darkness sometimes comes. Driving home, Melissa thinks of the ditch, of heading south to Florida. Let PennDOT decide if she was raptured or stolen. Melissa comes back the next night, just stands by the curtains. She tells no one. I always wear a necklace that has a gonzo pendant for Hunter Thompson. I have a St. Christopher medallion I wear. The following poem is about sort of the duality of that. It's called Saints and Cannons. That summer I wore a gonzo pendant, a silver fist in the air. It pressed heavy when I walked. A Christopher medallion my father brought back from Sicily. Another trip without me. Christopher was beheaded. Hunter shot out of a cannon. At night, they pressed against my chest, asking, do you bend for others, get quietly beheaded, or scream until the fuse explodes? I'm waiting for someone with a frayed rope and a clearance Coleman lantern, but I've always liked fireworks. I sit in the hot tub, writing into the simple truth. By morning, I couldn't read it. Bill Levine was just gone one day. I write until the pen gives out. Later that summer, I was cleaning my CZ-75 when it fired into my bedroom's drywall. No one came. I wasn't arrested. Instead, I dragged my speakers out into the little backyard, playing Lester Young past 2. That strange angel wanders the south side. Watching lit windows, he rattles my door at night. Tomorrow, I'll meet him barefoot. He knows my name. I don't know what he is. Maybe just something I hope is there. I gaze out, row houses, a torn off drain pipe, scraps of checkered tile. Tonight, I'll sit in the dark. As I was getting ready to publish this book, I had a memory of an object, a wooden angel that my parents had. And as I started getting this book ready for publication, it sort of became the central image of the poem and of the book. This is called The Wooden Angel. No one knows where she came from, but the wooden angel followed me all my life. It's not only her bare feet, not the hair tied behind her face, not her black eyes on the horn ready for the fire or the flood, but the swell beneath her patched dress where her wings join her back. She flies back to 1969. Grandpa leaves home when the stars are Irishmen, far from Killarney, abandoning 3 faded arrow shirts still buttoned in a Hazelcroft closet. He starts a new family, leaves again. Grandpa's no river. He moves anyway. He never knew what he loved. The day my father's turn comes to leave King's Chapel Road, he drops her in a clothes basket in the back seat, drives off. He always said it proud. The day it ended, I just left with what little I could fit in the car. He never knew what he loved. Between my birth and my father's leaving, my mother bought the angel. Vivian's, maybe a store in Canfield. My mother can't remember. In the division of property, the angel wasn't worth fighting over. She doesn't fly, just moves. In the angel's black eyes lived an unclaimed wishbone promise. My father buried her, the back of his bookshelf, behind a stack of balladachis. He never took a hammer. She never hung on a wall. Say goodbye, driving home under the salt moon, cold hands on the wheels. Don't waste autumn staring at your shoes. Say goodbye, humming Peggy O. Goodbye, broken glass. Goodbye, $35. Write, if you can. From Luzerne to Lawrence County, we laid our bodies down. The next poem, I was lucky enough very early in this book's life to get a great blurb from the legendary Memphis songwriter Keith Sykes. I name-checked Memphis a few times in the book. This is called Not Praying Outside a Church in Memphis. Each morning before I was ready, I staggered toward a city called Hope, not the town my ancestors left, but where pain was lost cousin. I went to Memphis, but didn't pray at the church Elvis loved on East Trig. I sat in the Jefferson Hotel, reading in today's paper, a woman on Crump Street, depressed, rejected, after catching her man, buying a ring for another, poured out the old crow, struck a match to the jug of turpentine, left the black cat bone under the porch swing, and burned her house down. She let loose the bird trapped in her ribs. Call it pain or grief. Was it sweet like a robin, or rough like a goose? Whatever it was, it flew. A lone witness to these days. I'm not a vulture, not a blue jay, not a crow, just a loon, still wailing from far across the river. The following poem is written in memory of a YouTube celebrity. His name was Pee Wee Toms. Died when he was in his early 30s from a rare form of cancer. This is called Private Archipelago. One day, you'll forget this version of yourself, heart like a bruised apple. You mark the house where you were born as a place you couldn't forget. You don't need a speedometer. You're not going anywhere. Someday, you'll be me tonight. Still I move. Dan died at 32, carcinoma. He sat by a quiet creek, waiting. We're like the passengers who crashed in the Hudson, swimming to torn off wings, fuselage, seat cushions. We were blessed by the wreckage, emerged harder, gentler too. My father drove to Ohio for illegal fireworks, bought them from a swamp shack. They came from nothing, returned to it. I pray to Quaker Falls, to the CSX train rumbling at 2 a.m., to Charlie the cat, fed fluid through tubes. I pray for Dan, too. I imagine Dan wanted to go south to Mexico just once, but he was racing the clock. Dan died 7 years ago. Dan knew. He smiled. He made peace with the dark. Past midnight at the Menger Hotel, I go to the lobby to meet the delivery man. My husband's knees are sore. We're packing shells. Later, if needed, we'll return to the empty rockets. I remember counting lights beyond the far hill, the radio screaming, "Your papa's done got a gun." One day, it'll be too late to be anything in this strange light. What no one tells you about aging is you're mostly fine with it. You become an old house oak alcove. When it rains, the whole street listens in. Not just kids and parents, strangers too. Some nights, that's enough. This is the last poem I'll read you from the book. I'll read you a couple new ones after that. This is a poem sort of inspired by the band Iron and Wine. This love song between an imaginary older couple called Like a Country You Must Leave. If I left before you, you lived by the highway, your red hair faded, the cornfields dried out in August, the wind laying low the weeds. At night you'll rise, naming the fixed stars like people call their dead. You'll become water, slow, stubborn, slipping through ditches, looking for a place to vanish. You'll find only dirt. You'll drive again. If I stayed, who would I be? I dream of rabbits with your eyes, soft-bellied, alert. You'll be safe in a field no one cuts, awake beneath curtains that never close. If I lost you, what would I become? A country, maybe, the kind you flee, fire catching behind you. The town hall flames, small enough at first to mistake for lanterns. I'm working right now on my second book, full-length book. It's called The 10 Foxes. There's a series of poems in it. I call them my last picture films. They're written about famous last photos of celebrities. This one is about Bob Marley. There's a famous photo of him taken shortly before he died. It's called They Cut His Mane. At his last show in Pittsburgh, he knew the unwinding had begun. He ended on get up, stand up, weakened, still screamed it like he was in London again. He knew, didn't tell the crowd, kept getting up until he couldn't. A Bible lies open, worn at the spine. He leans on a table, one elbow propped, his hand off frame, reaches for something, not healing, just water. He wears the colors, green, dulled to stone, red still burning. A knitted cap crowns his head, loose, slouched. His cheeks are hollow, his upper lip curls. He's Aslan after the shearing, the mane already gone. His eyes drift just past the lens. Someone who waited with him as death came. Death pressed him into the smallest frame. A spot on his toe had already begun its slow turn into darkness, a thing that wanted only to make him air. The room in Miami was a long way from Jamaica. Haile Selassie, already gone, strangled in his bed. After Bob, Peter shot, Carly gone, Babylon kept rising. When he left, he took nothing, only the blue reflection of the Atlantic. The last poem I'll read you tonight is another new one. This is called The Jumping Jack. The river came in 1943. In 2019, I bought the Pius Street house, found a girl's metal jumping jack waiting in the basement dust. its prongs rusted to the floor like it had always been there, laughter forgotten, which is no difference at all if there's no mother watching. Ask me about Pittsburgh, God in a starter jacket, just merciful enough to be the sky that never breaks as you run home bleeding. The paint blistered, the steps caved. I carry strangers out to the back porch, Hank Williams howling lovesick blues, as if the room were empty, still singing though the walls went quiet. She said, if we ever break up, I'm done with men. I'm going back to the dark, didn't blink. Churches with sagging roofs, bell towers nesting birds. It'll be okay, someone said. It wasn't. It never is. We went on. If I died at the table, would I know? Maybe it ends with the bike still ticking in the snow. When you rise, don't let the dark take my name. I just reached the point money could conjure arrivals in the mail, sirloin steak, a Neruda book, a Bowie knife, a crooked bear, lights that blinked red, then nothing. The river had a bottom. We lied to make it seem deeper. Wind in our faces, no moon, the streets all empty houses we'll never live in. A man in a Tesla will outbid us, strip it to studs, flip the dream. I send her back to hurting, to loneliness. I remember a woman I loved. I never met her outside Bakersfield. I never got the call to come scatter her bones. The house is sold. I write it instead. This is where they'll bury me. A miner's helmet I held for years, memorizing her hips like blackberry briar. In the end, so much goes away. I drive dead into it. I say the goddamn prayer. I bake the cake anyway. They say Richard Brodigan left a note somewhere near the body. I believe the mess. Thank you for listening. Like I said, my book, Hanging the Angels, is available on Amazon and Finishing Line Press too.
Blake, if I wasn't already into all of your work, you sealed the deal by name-checking Brodigan, my favorite writer, so well done. You could have done anything and then said Brodigan, and I would have been in, and it just so happened that you gave a great reading and then mentioned Brodigan as well, so well done. I love the line, I write until the pen gives out. I'm sure that resonated with a lot of people in terms of our kind of imperative to do what it is that we do. You mentioned name-checking Memphis, and it just got me thinking about my time in Memphis, which was only a few days, but really getting a sense of the emotion, the unique energy of that place, and all the different things that have happened there. I also love the line, "Don't let the dog take my name," and I just immediately thought, oh my God, what if it did take the name? What would it do with it? Run with it like a bone? I don't know, but I dug it. Congrats on the new book. I'm pasting some stuff in the chat, including links to where people can pick up Hanging the Angels, and I'm going to share the screen to show the broadside I made for the poem that you sent me. There it is for the poem On Your Knees. You can download this now. It's an 11 by 17 print or just digital file that you can look on the screen for the poem On Your Knees. Check it out now. This is how we compensate our featured poets, and we hope that you'll consider doing one of a couple things to tip them for their reading. One is contribute to the virtual passing of the hat, pasted into the chat and into the places where this is posted are Venmo ID. Blake tells me this is his wife's Venmo. I don't know the financial arrangement you have with your wife, if she'll even tell you that she got this money, Blake, but who knows? But at least it'll go to your household. We know that. There's also Blake's PayPal, which I believe goes directly to Blake. So you choose if you're going to send a tip where you want it to go. Another great way to tip the poet, of course, is to buy their book, Blake's book, Hanging the Angels, from Finishing Line Press. I'm sure you can get from the Finishing Line Press website, but also there's a link to it directly at Amazon and at bookshop.org, depending on where it is that you like to buy books. It is available. Great title, great poem that you sent for the broadside, and Really great to hear you read. Thanks for staying
Excellent.
up late, Blake, and reading for us.
Absolutely. And it being so late, I very much enjoyed the readings, but it's been a very, very long day. I'm unfortunately going to, I'll try to stay for another reading or two, and then I need to probably fall asleep.
No problem. You wouldn't be the first person to fall asleep in the middle of the reading,
I wouldn't do
just so you
that to
know.
somebody.
But there you go. At least you didn't fall asleep during your own reading. That would be something. All right, Blake, thank you so much for being
Thank you.
here. Everyone, please give another round of applause for our featured reader, Blake Lynch. Thank you so much, Blake. Great job. Great to meet you. Come back and read in the open sometime. I will quickly mention that next week our featured reader will be Quincy Scott Jones, a poet I've encountered before online, and excited to hear Quincy's work next week. That leads us now to the rest of tonight's open reading. Here's who I have on the list in this order: Michael G. Hickey, Martina Robles Gallegos, Denise Dumars, Carrie Cox, Jeffrey Bryant, Jennifer Elise Wang, Cheryl Latif, Julian Matthews, Linda V.E. Crawford, Christopher Bogart, Dave Kula, Aref Moalemi, and me. If anyone else would like to be added to the list, all you have to do is send me a message in the chat and I'll be happy to add you. Friendly reminder, in case you forgot or weren't here at the beginning, it's 2 poems maximum, and our suggested time limit is less is more. There you go. So Martina Robles Gallegos, you are on deck. Please welcome our next reader, Michael G. Hickey. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone. I just have one poem tonight. It's called Try Not to Put Blake Lynch Asleep. No, not really. It's called Please Rate Your Experience. Number 1, now that your life has officially ended, please answer this short survey and rate your overall satisfaction as a human being. A, very satisfied. B, somewhat satisfied. C, somewhat dissatisfied. D, very dissatisfied. Number 2, how likely would you be to recommend human life to a friend? A, definitely would. B, probably would. C, probably would not. D, you'd be better off as a defective satellite endlessly orbiting the Earth. Number 3, if reincarnation was possible, how likely would you be to return to life as a human? A, very likely. B, somewhat likely. C, somewhat unlikely. D, would my ex-wife still be there? Number 4, in terms of your overall satisfaction, how would you rate your experience with the following human conventions? Money. A, I had just the right amount. B, I always wanted more. C, more money, more problems. D, put it this way, on my deathbed, I wasn't calling my stockbroker or the Bank of America. Number 5, compared to other forms of physical human experience, how would you rate sexuality? A, I had just the right amount. B, I always wanted more. C, more money, more problems. D, put it this way, I died in bed with my ex-wife's sister. Number 6, how would you rate government, politicians, and the political process? A, for the most part, they were incompetent but seemed to mean well. B, for the most part, they were incompetent. C, they could find a way to tax anything from gravity to bird farts. D, this survey is genuinely starting to piss me off. And finally, number 7, in just a few words, what would you change, if anything, about your human experience? First, I'd get rid of hiccups and hangovers. Secondly, hair would grow only when and where desired. Also, eliminate anything and everything related to menstruation. Eliminate people at four-way stops who don't know the right-of-way laws. Get rid of racists, misogynists, ageist, xenophobes, homophobes, and everyone who falls into the general category of asshole. And finally, do away with anyone who calls you in the middle of your afterlife spirit jet quest and asks you to take a short survey rating your level of satisfaction with taking short surveys. Thank you.
Really tremendous number of fantastic and fun lines in that piece, Michael. Great list poem. What I really wanted to ask you, though, is before the reading started, when you came on and Cathabella proclaimed that she really liked your head, did that go to your head?
Yeah, it did. I can't. This hat used to fit. I can't even fit this hat anymore. My head's so big after her saying that.
Well, that's an unforeseen problem as a result of that. But I don't know. I guess you need to do some head exercises. Thank you. I see a lot of people bowing in shame and in pain as a result of having said that, and I apologize. Sort of. Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Great piece. Round of applause for Michael G. Hickey. On deck, Denise Dumars. Please welcome now Martina Robles Gallegos. Hello, Martina.
Hello. I have two kind of short ones, like usual, anyways. The first one is called The World Outside. The world outside my head is as boisterous as the world inside. Happy, laughing children, chirping birds, and loudly barking dogs are no match for the old, loud memories in my head, churning, boiling, screaming, and crying to be set free. The monarch butterfly visited again today, like she did yesterday, and both days Kitty quickly raised her little head, and her bright eyes followed the butterfly around and over the guava tree and into the blue skies above. Two white airplanes fly overhead, but Kitty no longer cares for airplane, and she goes back to sleep instead of dashing into the house. Skater boy keeps making his rounds in front of the house. He must not know there's a park nearby with rubber walkways to keep him safe, if that's what he's looking for. My brain is loud with thoughts imprisoned for decades, thoughts that have imprinted in me permanently and will never change even if I want them to. The white sound that is supposed to relax me makes me feel sad instead. I ought to request a refund. When I first got it, it was absolutely free. Compliments of the good apple. Now, however, there's a bad, rotten apple in the middle. Thank you. Okay, the next one. Guppy versus whale. The whales in the ocean keep helping sharks and dolphins. The guppies in the brook are really just forgotten. The whales are too busy chasing sharks away, but then sharks turn on dolphins, and the guppy is left behind. Guppy wishes whale could be a friend instead, but dolphin starts to cry, and whale swims away. Now shark wants to be hero and comes to rescue guppy. The creatures of the ocean, of the sea, cannot make up their minds. They want to save a friend, but then become the enemy. From what I understand, the guppy is all alone because the bigger creatures have bigger fish to catch. Thank you.
The big things eat the smaller things. Martina, thank you so much for being here. Nice to hear your work again. May you always be visited by monarch butterflies or any insect of your choice. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Martina Robles Gallegos. On deck, Carrie Cox. Please welcome now Denise Dumars. Hello, Denise.
Hi. Well, I just have one tonight, but it needs a tiny introduction. We've already invoked the name of Deborah Piccologi tonight, but this poem, this whatever this is, it might be a poem, might be a manifesto. I'm not really sure. Another friend of mine, my former colleague at Long Beach City College, her name was Charla Howard. She was also a poet, not as well known as Debbie, but she passed away this weekend, and I just found out on the day that, was the 1-year anniversary of Debbie passing away. So I was pretty messed up, and I wrote this. It's written in the form of a haibun, but like I say, it's more like a manifesto. It's called Why Do Poets Have to Die? I suppose some more poets can have their place on the stage, but the stage is big enough for everyone. It's bigger than the whole world, the whole universe, the multiverse, the extra dimensions where extra dimensional people see us as flat as paper that they can write on because they have poets too. And you can never have too many poets. Unlike some other things, yeah, you can have too many cars, too many vuvuzelas, but every poet is unique, so the more the merrier. I mean, my friends Charlotte and Debbie were two completely different people, completely different poets. And of course, Andrea Gibson was completely different from them. And that bastard cancer got them all. And yes, there are too many people with cancer. But can we have clean air, clean water, no plastics or carcinogens in our food? No, of course not. Because rich men want more money, and still they aren't happy because they have no poetry in their lives to make their lives happy. And they wouldn't know a poet if they ran over one in their Maseratis that look just like Toyotas, only they don't know that because they've never seen a Toyota. And if they've seen a poet, it's only because some gorgeous actor may have played one in a movie that they saw because they invested in it. And the whole thing wrong with America is that we don't understand poets or know that we should love them and enjoy them because we cannot understand other countries where there are people who love poets. Loving poetry is an act of rebellion in America, and it sucks to be a poet in America because everyone thinks you're useless and pretentious, and you don't make enough money because poetry only makes money in countries where people love poetry. And the one thing that Americans cannot stand is someone who doesn't make enough money. Charla, shooting star. Debbie shines with Perseids. My tears, paper, poems. Thank you.
You can't have too many poets, Denise. Well said. A beautiful piece. Thank you so much for bringing that to us tonight. Well done. Round of applause for Denise Dumars. On deck, Jeffrey Bryant. Please welcome now Carrie Cox. Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday, poetry night. That was really just a stunning tribute, Denise. I'm like choked up and I didn't even know these people, but that was really gorgeous. I mean, I knew Andrea, of course. Okay, I have two pieces tonight. The first one is called Wistful Tyria, and it's got some E.E. Cummings kind of stuff going on in here. So here we go. Wistful Tyria blink bloomed, a shut door moment portended through starboard games where we play, fight, play, and think of what kissed kisses might taste like. You zoned my interwebbed homily to the family of fevers I keep in my heat-seeking missile, missing the mark. Another slinged shot in the dark. We daze the faded ways the sunset plays with hair and eyes and the color gold bricked up like Fort Knox roadblocks, rocking the flocks of their fortunes. No cookies, no cartoons, no more matrimonial mistakes making themselves awake in these jungled up juice cups of nectar of follow-up scheduled 3 weeks in advance. The rear view chance we caught the disease from each other, the weather, the milk of some mother of storms, electric and warm, a teethy scene underwater like early morning dream steam, the way the eyes fiend for the spaces we create between. The whole thing slightly obscene, a capsized capture of lips that weren't loose but still sunk us both overboard, tossed to the cruising moves of manic waving jellyfish, surfacing for skin to sting. Bless me, these messy sweat themes are blaming my body for damp things I wake to forget naming. Whew. And my second one is called The Cartilage of it's called Connective Tissue, sorry. The cartilage of the Armitage, the heavy slice of avarice, the wild wick of the lunatic, the brain more insane than apoplectic, a heretic of the lickety split. I'm coming with, she said. I'm coming with, running to keep up with the serpents they sweep up from streets where children follow pipers down screen holes. The décolletage of a broken visage, the holy way your mouth as a corsage, pinned to my heart, my breastbone, my pulse, my rim shot, my knickknacks, my newborn given curse, as if there was an alibi that could get me off the hook by hook or crook, or a captain blacker than the one in any book, a sentence blown toward me like a kiss wrapped in a confused look. And in the end, that's all it took to start writing songs that started softly, massaging every mirage, my hand resting along your spine before you know you're asleep and your heart is still mine. Thank you.
Whoa, Carrie, you're on fire tonight. You should literally douse yourself with water just as a safety measure. Well done. A lot of great work in your work tonight. Nice job.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Carrie Cox. Thank you, Carrie. On deck is Jennifer Elise Wang. Please welcome now Jeffrey Bryant. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi, everybody. I'll read some new shit and then some book shit. Let's start with the new shit. Blessed are we, the blasphemers, the church gigglers inhaling the incense of longing over votive lit moistened eyes. I sit with my hymnal yearning for your lips of juniper and lemon, for the sun to quicksand into water, so we can taste each other nocturnally again. The wisdom of our ages conjured in stolen half pints and a condom machine. Blessed are the spellcasters who stirred us into flesh. Blessed are the verses glistening down our cheeks. A tongue-full Rimbaud below your mascaraed lash. Kiss you famished and lawless. Lie with you wrapped tightly in our bodies of Christ. Two frail wafers, soft under the Luna light. This next piece is from my new book, The Catacombs of Vanished Lovers. This is called The Desert Road Trip High and Dry. On the long drive back through heartbreak, the blacktop disappears, and all the signs hide their faces, but your face is flash flooding me. In the beginning, we were each other's continental breakfast. From vacancy to vacancy, bouncing from king to queen in no-star motels. Two guys and one bed full of box spring possibilities. You must have vanished inside the warm exhale of a coyote howl. What I call your wee hour high and dry, clutching a wallet that used to be mine. Maybe you'll inhale me in a shirt someday, all lost in candlelit regret. I'll look in my cracked mirror and see the lesson you taught me with your rough trade syllabus and its required reading of signals I ignored. The reasons you were wrong would fit in the trunk if I tossed out the spare. I'm just alone now with an ice-cold shotgun seat, accelerating back on this disappearing blacktop, trying to shake the vulture who has your devil laugh and smells nothing on me but death. Thank you.
Jeffrey, thank you very much. Always strong work from you. Congrats again on your new book.
Thank you.
Very, very cool that you're heading up north to do another publication reading. Makes you feel kind of like a poet rock star when you get to travel somewhere to read poems.
Sure does.
That's
We have
cool.
a big bus and we've got lots of well, never mind.
Ugh.
I'll put an invite here for everyone to see for the Berkeley reading.
Please do. And may you have many more good moments with this. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Jeffrey Bryant. Check out his new book. On deck, Cheryl Latif. Please welcome now Jennifer Elise Wang. Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, I've got two. The first is inspired by the fact that I almost fell out of the hoop when I was in aerial class earlier today. Thankfully, I'm not far off the ground, but this poem is Adoration of Icarus. My father gave me wings to escape, but I wanted to go to you, to feel more of your warmth, to hear more of the songs that would pop into my mind when your light reaches my eyes, the moment my lids part in the morn. We mortals call our best stars, but there is only one of you that we cannot compare ourselves to, and I would give all future sight for just a direct glimpse of you, to burn your divine form into my memory forever. Why do adults tell us to aim high, yet not fly too close to you? I know these wings will melt, but I've learned wax play is my kink. Is it hubris to desire to be close to the one you adore? And my second piece is another new publication. It's in Ability Main's magazine, Breath and Shadow, which features disabled poets. And this is the eyeball poem. As a kid, I wanted to be an owl, so my eyeballs would be static. It hurt to move them too much, although sometimes I wish I could roll them so far that I would be staring at my brain. When I was a teenage insomniac, I'd say my eyeballs were on fire during the 8 a.m. class. No wonder when I did college theater, I'd feel the burn of tears, but nothing came out. People called me unemotional, said my eyes looked dead in pictures, even when I tried to smize like a top model. The cells in my eyeballs are dying, and I think about retinal detachment frequently. You would think I know if the flashing and the floaters are from that and not my mind's eye going wild, but anxiety keeps you from seeing clearly. I learned the vitreous can detach too. My dad sent me a video of his vitrectomy, and I couldn't look at the close-ups, already haunted by the implication of bladeless LASIK and what if I needed the knife. Could I gouge out an infected eye and offer it in my palm for power like some of my anime crushes? Did I doom myself with temporary vision loss, multiple evanescent white dot syndrome, in conceiving this poem? Eye patches are sexy, at least.
True that, Jennifer. Yeah, that's our theme for next week, by the way, everyone in an eye patch. So just keep that in mind. It's optional, but it's
They're going to bring back what
nice.
I called a hot eye patch summer when I did lose vision in one eye.
The phrase eye patch summer is a whole other thing, which now I'm going to be thinking about. I'm also really concerned about just the words that you almost fell out of the hoop. I mean, I don't think any context is going to make me feel better about that.
Yeah, luckily I was hanging on, but yeah, not a fun thing to hear a teacher go, "Oh no, not that way," and then it was too late.
Just everyone, just be careful in the hoop. That's all I have to say. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Jennifer Elise Wang. On deck, Julian Matthews. Please welcome now Cheryl Latif. Hello.
Took me a minute to unmute. I apologize. My voice is, I don't know, in another universe right now. But I'm going to try to read you some poetry. This poem is called Coda. Cruel memories, stubborn resolve, rises and falls like incantations. You ride the pigeon tone through nameless days. I could tell you the course of a river can't be changed, but you've seen his face in its quiet reflection, felt the pull of shifting streams. Some days you are the strength of those currents. Others, lost in their fickle eddy, knots in your hair, too long uncombed. It matters not if it's water or song. This swell of chance, unlikely visitations, only that it brooks your sorrow, those last days when even your love could not save him. You tell me you've been where the river once flowed, banks alive now with black-eyed Susans, how it's their spring, not yours, how their hollow eyes hold your gaze. Innocence long buried in unmarked graves. You ride the rapids of an uncertain future. As for love, there's less of it now, but more need. Even the poets have lost their way. Thank you.
You doing another, Cheryl?
No, that's it.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you so much for being here. I think your breathy voice, although it may not be what you intended, added a whole other fun dimension, intoxicating dimension to your work tonight. So the poets may have lost their way, but you helped us find it with your voice tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Cheryl Latif. On deck is Dave Kula. We had Linda V.E. Crawford would have been in that spot, but Linda's having some technical difficulties and so has bowed out of the open. Our loss, Linda. Hope you get that resolved. So Dave Kula, you're on deck. Please welcome now Julian Matthews. Hello, Julian.
Hi. Oh, the 2 poems. Oh. The first one is called Footnote. Yeah. Footnote. If I wrote a poem about you, there would be an asterisk at the end of every line. Each will shine like a tiny dark star at the edge of the universe. Each will lead you to a footnote explaining the ambiguity of sadness from your absence. My poem can't, won't, will not stand on its own or be self-explanatory. Your questioning eyes will dart up and down the page from asterisk to footnote. Line, asterisk, footnote, line, asterisk, footnote, line, asterisk, footnote. Trying to make sense of it all until you reach the last line, which wouldn't need a footnote. Because by then you would understand that you are gone, no longer here, unalive. And all that remains is this grief and your unexplainable presence still kicking around and footnoted in my life forever. The second one is triggered by a discussion on Reddit about the swirls in a watermelon. Watermelon, after Charles Simic and Pablo Neruda. Inside you is a red ocean. Outside, a green zigzag of unenvious emotions. We see you, where you were scarred by the sun, yet you persisted by sheer thirst-trapping will. Like a wondrous womb, you bloomed, your seeds hungry to perpetuate your lineage. Come hither, you beckoned a buxom temptress, and we were sucked in and cracked you open. Your crunchy crunch mesmerizing, we were slowberry slakers, dribbling chin drippers. We even salted and sweetened you as if your sugary lushness was not enough. But you paid the price for this selfless sacrifice. We had our fill, never settled the bill. Your petite pits bore the indignity of spittle. A game perhaps you induced to pitch them like pocket rockets afar, and you taught them to swim, traverse through windy nethers to be expunged, booted, and flushed, a relentless quest to find fresh earth for your spunky progeny to root in. Always a generous giver, you kept us cool even in heat, like a regenerating Promethean liver, sliced to smile. You are our crimson cleanser, our summery pink of health restorer. We are forever entwined, both mostly water, made up of saccharine juices of the divine, until we shuffle off this mortal rinds and return to the waters, the river, that sea of brine. Thank you.
Well, Julian, you had me at watermelon. It's my favorite food. I had a really good one today with dinner. Watermelon is the Brodigan of fruit, as far as I'm concerned. It's just perfect. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for being here. Round of applause for Julian Matthews, as always, reading to us from the future in Malaysia. On deck, Aref Moalemi, please welcome now Dave Kula. Hello, Dave.
Hello. First time I get to be here in this group up in Virginia, and I had a couple poems that were published in our Writers Club's anthology, Reflections by the Riverside, I wanted to do. The first one I did was kind of very personal to me because I've had several friends and family members that committed suicide, and it kind of hit, where I had to do something, and so many broken hearts and families, torn apart by life's painful cruelties, open wounds that will never heal while pretending everything is just fine. So many thoughts of ending it all under the guise of being joyful while using incredible skills of masquerading as okay. Cannot change what dwells inside the mind, as internally they desire to sleep forevermore while doubting life will ever get lighter or better. Everyone dies eventually, but why by their own hand? Stopping suicide feels impossible when you've seen that end. Stopping suicide is hard as people don't express their plans. Stopping suicide can be simply checking on a friend, and stopping suicide is aiding others to make new happy plans. The other one I did was that I got into a streak of writing a bunch of tankas, and I got inspired by finding some mountain laurel in my yard that I didn't know where they came from. Trees never planted, white flowers stained with brown lines, mountain laurels bright. How did you come to my yard to deliver such beauty?
Really lovely, Dave. Thank you so much for bringing both of those with us, and both for the sadness and the memory that you brought in the first poem as well. Glad you made it here tonight. I hope you come back and read some more for us. Welcome to Cobalt Poets. Yeah. Round of applause for Dave Kula. Thank you, Dave. Two more poets on the open reading list, and then me to close out the open reading. Ed Potastic, you are on deck. Please welcome now Aref Moalemi. Hello, Aref.
Hello, Rick, and hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. This is poem called Disappearance is merely delayed discovery. I have failed to find your grave, so I pretend you're still alive. I persuade the candle fresh from the cemetery to celebrate your birthday cake instead. I speak the candle is language. My mouth is already aflame, but you burned. You burned from the within of your own word. They smelled of lamp oil, each sentence a self-immolation, and yet from the candle is trade. I expect not burning, but mending. If it could stitch the alpha to the omega, or unity would ignite, then when I searching for you, I will be searching for myself. Alas, the final of flames is a fragile seam, the trembling line between togetherness and rupture. Thank you.
Aref, thank you so much for being here. I think you mentioned to me privately, are you reading to us from Iran right now?
Yes, I'm from Iran, and this point translate Persian to English.
Very cool. Well, I'm so glad that you came here and read it for us. I hope you come back and read some more for us. And welcome to you as well to Cobalt Poets. Please come again. All right, round of applause for sure. All right, round of applause for Aref, first time here, reading to us from Iran, a poem translated from Persian. Cool experience for all of us. Definitely come back, Aref. I am on deck to close out the open reading. Please welcome our next reader, Ed Potastic. Hello, Ed.
Hello, thank you, our wonderful host that we love the most, the deserve a toast that goes coast to coast, that never ever boast. Hello, my name is Ed Potastic, I'm feeling fantastic. Please, time to control my rhyme. Five full sublime. I got two pieces, so I take too much time. The first piece is called Disquieting Place. Anxiety is a sickness, the lethal toxic kiss. The roars rain down, drowning out the sounds. Anxiety howling at me. My mouth is full of bees. Why do you hold us ransom? Why are you our venom? You look into your eyes, your mouth slowly rise. You swallow us, you snake, as we cry salty blue lakes. We try to frantically crawl out. We're full of regret and doubt. We're paralyzed in sorrow, dreading what's tomorrow. We are your succulent prey as we liquefy and pray. As we silently think back, nestling gray and black. As we frozen as a deer, bound by chilling fear. Why do you punish us as our energy turn to dust? Why do you jail us as we're trapped in a gust? We stay in a dark tomb or blackened seal cocoon. Your chest runs empty, our belly in a frenzy. We're sinking as a rock or a really bad stock. We choke on our nerves. We're suffering in the curse. Let's end on a high note. What's the pure antidote? How do we dispose of fear? Is to switch your gears. You feel your worries. Please don't be uneasy. Fear doesn't control you. That's your bright clue. I know it's just, I know, but don't bust. Learn about your fear. I'm being very sincere. You won't burn if you learn. Your courage will return. Fear isn't your puppet master. Don't let it be your great disaster. Thank you. And the last one is called Public Square. Thank you so much. A snake wrapped around I couldn't make any sound. I could hear the dreadful rattle. My body's losing this battle. Oh my God! I can't breathe. I can only grip my teeth. The wind refuses to come out. Come on, why can't I shout? Do I have an early stage of gout? Or an itsy bitsy amount of clout? I feel naked with no underwear. Please don't stare with those glares. I feel like an animal in the zoo, my mouth stuck by crazy glue. I. So. What the hell is that? Am I picking words from a hat? Why couldn't I be born a bat? Instead of silently suffering an attack? Why do people make it look easy? Or not trying to come off as cheesy? My mind's full. My mind is feeling like milk. My tongue is feeling like silk. Oh God, where are my notes? Hopefully not chewed up by goats. Yeah, now I'm swallowing many bullets. Breathe before you start crying pellets. Oh, anxiety, please remove your grip before my heart skips while I slip. If you have anxiety in society, it's only reality with extra variety. It's okay. This is another day. Don't downplay your wordplay. Remember, it's only in your mind. Nobody's going to kick your behind. We all have that uncomfortable feeling. Don't need for freezing or squealing. Never forget, don't focus on little old you. Don't stay blue because you know what to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Fun reading. Thanks for the toast as well at the beginning. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming back here. Keep doing that. Right. Round of applause for Ed. Potastic. Thank you so much, Ed. All right. I'm going to close out the open reading with a couple of poems. We're on high moose alert at the moment. My new book comes out next week on Tuesday. It will be officially available. I think technically, and by the laws of science, you could buy a copy anyway, even though it's not officially out. But what can you do? That's the official publication date. And then August 2nd, Saturday, August 2nd, I'll be having an online publication reading with some cool things at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Anchorage, Alaska. This book, High Moose Alert, is all poems written while traveling in Vancouver, Alaska, and the Canadian Yukon. This is a poem I wrote just outside of Vancouver when Addie and I went to Capilano Bridge Suspension Park, where you get to walk across a suspension bridge over a big canyon and immerse yourselves in trees and all kinds of cool things. This poem is called We Have Arrived at Capilano Bridge Suspension Park. I say things to Addie which aren't worth repeating. Addie wants to make sure I don't drop my phone off the bridge. I make no promises. New rule, Addie says, no writing poetry on the bridge. I point to some nice-looking flowers to hopefully distract her from this. Certainly the most important rule, she clarifies, is to not let her fall off the bridge. This is one I pay attention to. Addie wonders if I'm lying when I tell her these trees are called Stanley firs. I think of it less as lying and more of stating facts which aren't true. They say the Capilano Suspension Bridge can support the weight of 2 747s. I only brought one with me, so we should be fine. Ollie Otter promised me trout, but didn't deliver. The yellow slugs have the day off, too. The Vancouver airport owns 4 hawks, the person at the live birds exhibit tells us, who works 365 days a year to scare off problematic birds as planes take off. Your feet never have to touch earth at Capilano Suspension Bridge Park, thanks to all they have built here. You walk across the bridge, but you also have to walk back, unless you want to live with the yellow slugs forever. They don't tell you that in the brochure. To the eyes of the man of imagination, nature is imagination itself. William Blake. This is a rainforest. It is always green here. Cliffside restaurant and bar. The boy who brings us our food has the beard of a French-Canadian lumberjack in training. We're on a Canadian bus to a mountain. You pay without touching. I haven't touched anything since I left America. Okay, there you go. That's a poem from High Moose Alert, coming out soon. There's a link in the chat in case you would like to see more poems from it and get a copy of it. This poem, this next one, the second one, this last one, is written after this week's Torah portion. It follows this line of text: you must designate cities for yourself that will be cities of refuge for you. A murderer who killed a person unintentionally must flee there. The poem is called Let My City Be a Refuge. Let my city be a refuge for the innocent at heart. Let their apology for unintended actions be enough. Let us take into consideration the circumstances. Let us defend the people who've sought refuge from the people who wear masks and carry guns. Let us return the coldness of ice with the coldness of ice. Let us freeze it into immobility. Let crossing rivers not be a crime. Let children and their parents not be criminal for existing without papers. Let walls only exist to keep out floods. Let them always have doors and windows. Let them be unlocked. Let my city be a refuge for anyone who needs a space, and breath and air. I designate this for every soul. There you go. New poem. Guess what that one was about. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for being here. Especially thanks to our featured reader, Blake Lynch. I'm going to repaste the stuff in the chat for you. There you go. There's all of Blake's stuff. You can tip Blake for his reading via Venmo or PayPal. You can download his broadside at the Cobalt Poets website. When you're there, click on calendar to find out who is reading next week. It is the poet Quincy Scott Jones will be here reading for us in addition to our open reading. Also on that website, if you're new here, and I know we have some new people here, if you click on email list and add your email, you'll get emails every week reminding you who is reading with convenient Zoom links you can click on as well. That's it. That's everything I need to tell you. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Thanks to all the folks who just came to listen. That's really cool as well. And thanks again to Blake. I'm going to click on the Ask All to Unmute button as soon as I find it. There it is.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Yes, good night.
It was marvelous.
Yeah.
Did you post a link for
Thank
the
you.
website for your group?
For this group?
Correct.
I think he means to get the email.
I did. One of the links that I posted, you have to scroll up to see it, is I'll just type in the website again. There it is. That's the website. There's also a Facebook group.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was a good one. Thanks. Nice to see everybody.
Good night. Love you.
You too, Siggy.
Love you too, Siggy.
Thank you very much for allowing me to join.
See y'all
Have a great
soon.
night.
Anytime, Dave. Come back anytime. Seriously.